Good morning, everyone, and welcome to American Scouser's Morning Coffee or Tea with American Scouser. It is Wednesday. We are here, and obviously, because it's Wednesday, I am back to being number one, great dad. Number two is still not here. Gordo is out of action, but somewhere in the running, but extremely hungover, is Kazi with us. Bringing reckless early. We usually wait till Friday to go full reckless. But what's up, Kazi?
I've had better Wednesdays. I'm not going to lie to you. I've had better Wednesdays. This is a low bar right now for me. It's one of those ones that's what I'm going to have a look in the mirror after today and go, you need to get your shit together. But the reason why I'm so hungover is because I got my first ever hole-in-one yesterday playing golf. So I got my first ever hole-in-one, which is a very rare thing to happen in golf. You know what I mean? It's like Darwin Núñez hitting the target, really. It's very
way too early for this.
Ozzy might be hungover, but not hungover enough to give Darwin shade, right?
And John is with us, sober. Are you even a golfing guy? Did you get a hole-in-one?
Does that count? Mini golf count?
I don't think so. No.
No. No. Well, my grandpa tried, getting me into it because he's a big golf guy as well. So I totally get where Kazi's coming from. It's just not for me, but I feel like it's gonna be eventually. I feel like it's gonna be eventually.
What do you mean, like as they get older and
probably, yeah? Because I get the appeal. Like right now, I prefer like more action, I guess, in my sports. But I feel like I totally get it. I totally get what makes it great. So I'm not ruling it out completely. So.
Ryan gets it. See, I don't get what makes it great. You know what my issue with golf is? I don't have the patience for it. And I would get like too frustrated with myself, and it would be more like a miserable experience than anything else. So like, I don't know, you try to learn a new sport, like we did tennis for a while, you hit it, you're like, God damn it. So you can just grab another one and hit it. Golf, I'm going to hit a bad shot. Now I got to walk all the way over there to the shot that frustrated the hell out of me and stuff like that. So I guess that's the part I don't think I can handle.
When you first starting as well, it's worse because you're not good, of course. So you're just going to grind through it a little bit until you kind of get like, oh, this is actually working. But yeah, I wish the ball never went in the hole now. But what can you do?
See, we got a lot of golfers in the audience, and they appreciate the hole-in-one over here. I do appreciate it because I know it's rare. Having played Tiger Woods on PlayStation.
Mario Golf, Tim. Mario Golf is where I totally...
Ryan says for you to play disc golf.
Right. I just Googled that, and it looks fun because I like playing Frisbee as well. So it does look fun. Yeah.
I suck at Frisbee and don't like golf, so that would be I don't know if I can like wing that. But there's actually like a place like right by over there. There's a park and I see people playing it all the time. So that's probably the closest I'll get to golf. But let's get to some headlines and some news over here. We'll get to the press conference. Before we even get to the press conference, this is something that actually came up in the press conference as well, and it's in the headlines. The protest for like the ticket price increase, 2%, I believe, after 2% last year. Yep. Obviously, to us in the U.S. over here, it doesn't seem as big of a big deal. And probably in the grand scheme of things, I'm sure I'll come to you with this, Kazi, because obviously you got more contacts and you're there a lot more often than we are. I'm assuming 2% is not a ridiculous increase over there as well, based on everything else in economy. But is this one of those things for, like, if you don't protest, it's going to be 4%. So you might as well, voice concern anytime there's an increase, kind of an ordeal?
Well, last year, I think they let them have one last year, basically without any kind of protest, because they had a 2% increase last year. And I think a lot of fans are like, okay, we get it. You know what I mean? We get it. It's a small increase. You froze. I think they froze the 2 years before that. So you're like, listen, it is what it is. You've done 2% again this year. And listen, there's a cost of living crisis, of course. We get all that. And I know what people are going to say. It's a business and it's no problem. But there's a few things to this. Number one, you can't ask for an atmosphere and ask for fans if you don't respect the fans. Let's get that right. You can't have it both ways. You can't keep dipping into people's pockets and then also saying, by the way, this means more. And you're the 12th man and all. Oh, the cop, we need you today because Darwin Núñez has 16 sitters. So you can't ask for all that kind of stuff. And then the most annoying part, which no one's spoken about, Tim, we're playing extra games next year in the Champions League.
Yeah.
home games. There's your money. You get about 4 to 6 million on a match day revenue. And I think that this 2% increase is going to earn about the same. And you're playing 2 extra games, I think, at home in the Champions League. So that's what I'm saying. So it's not like, you're filtering the gap through the Champions League next year for this extra money. So I'm, of course, completely against it. Of course I will. It's a working man sport. That's how soccer has always been. You know this, guys. Football's always been kind of thing. It is what it is. But again, you can't have it both ways, Tim. You can't have it both ways, mate. You can't ask for the fans to do this and the fans to do that, but you've got to show respect to the fans as well. You let you have one last year.
So you think this is going to be like they're gonna settle as 1% kind of an ordeal, or you think they're gonna back? I mean, like I say, FSG has taken some missteps in the past, and the protests have kind of made him take a step back. This doesn't seem as obnoxious as some of the other missteps they've done in the past, where they've had to backtrack from. Yeah. I kind of like took this as, if you keep taking the 2% and not say anything, it's gonna be 3, 4, and stuff like that. Yeah, so you got to voice a concern.
Yeah, that's exactly it, mate. Yeah, because if you keep letting people get away with things in life, then they keep taking advantage. They can't keep taking advantage. They let you have 2% last year. You couldn't, and this is the mad part. And they're asking Klopp. It's Klopp's last season, man. There's fucking like 10 games to go, and he's getting asked questions about ticket prices and about fans and atmosphere. He just thinks, I need everyone with me here. I'm going for fucking 2 trophies. Do you know what I mean? So that's what I'm more frustrated with. It's like, for the extra 2%, Tim, is it worth the bad press? Is it worth it when you've got the extra?
But isn't it? That's why it's 2%.
What do you mean?
Like, I mean, it's not like, they didn't go like 5%. You know what I mean? Like, it's 2%. Maybe they felt the 2% ones kind of sneak by.
But I mean, and I can see Sergi's comment there as well. They didn't invite any fan groups into this plan raise as well. They didn't invite any, and to explain the reasoning. I think they did last year before they raised it 2%.
Yeah, I can't remember.
I can't remember really, but I think they did last year. And then the fan groups basically came out with their own statements. SOS and other people like that came out with their own statements to say, "Oh, this is the reason why COVID and blah blah blah." You know what I mean? So unfortunately, we have to swallow this one. But when you've got extra games at home, Tim, it doesn't make sense to me. You're making like 4 million a match day, and you get 2. I think you get 2 extra home games at the Champions League. It doesn't make any sense to me. But listen, it is a misstep, Tim, as you said, but they've done many missteps. This is not a big one, because I think they will just come around to, an agreement somewhere on this. Yeah. I think they'll freeze. And just worry about it next year. And I think they'll look at the club and go, it's fucking Klopp's last season. We didn't have to do this. You know what I mean? Like, couldn't you just freeze this 1 year and then come back to us next year when Klopp's gone? Do you know what I mean? But we'll see what happens.
I mean, obviously, John, we're kind of like outside looking in, and when you compare it, I think American sports are so goddamn overpriced that when we compare it, I mean, I was looking at like the season, and I know it's hard to get those season tickets and everything, but when you compare like season tickets and stuff like that, I was like, that's quite a deal for like Anfield, for example. But I mean, what do you think? Obviously, like I say, we're kind of like more outside looking in, but.
Oh, no, for sure. I'm totally against it. And it's, for me, the principle of it. Like 2%, sure, it looks minuscule if you're, putting it relative to other ticket prices like here in America. But allowing it is kind of like allowing a bully to keep beating on you. He's just going to keep doing it and doing it and doing it until you stand up to him. So, like, you might as well get on it early. And credit to the fans for showing their displeasure. And I agree with Kazi. There's probably going to be a middle ground reached somewhere.
That's what I'm assuming.
What I can't understand is you got a team here that's posting record revenues every single year, probably going to break the record next year with us winning, going back into the Champions League, maybe winning a trophy or two with the prize money and everything, right? So, and possibly opening up to the South American markets even more so, because we got Nunez, we got McAllister, so on and so forth. Like, not to get too much on the, on the logistics side of things, the financial side of things, but listen, jersey sales increase every year, revenue increases every year. So ticket prices should not. Right? You got to endear these people that put you in this position to be making record revenues, to be, arguably the biggest club in world football, right? So obviously not for it. From an outsider looking in, obviously I can't speak in terms of like the local connection and everything, but totally understand it, and fair play to those guys who are taking off their flags for this game, for tomorrow's game, in protest. So.
Yeah, I mean, Sparky says if you let people shit on you, they'll keep shitting, and that's basically what it comes down to, I think. And My flip side of this is the people who are protesting. I mean, you have to increase revenue either way, and then you can never say. I mean, I understand some of the conversations in terms of like the jerseys and merchandise and stuff, but at all times, it is still a business. And not to mention, the more you generate, the more you can spend. So you're always going to try to maximize it. I think this is probably like the least way of maximizing it in some ways. So maybe that's why it's kind of like a tough battle to pick. But on the flip side of this, anybody who is protesting for the 2% increase, I don't want them afterwards coming in and bitching about LeBron wearing a jersey and, you know, using LeBron's name to sell merchandise and stuff. Because the money has to come from somewhere. And I feel like, you know, that's why I'm cool with that stuff. Do all that stuff. Put the freaking Hello Kitty or whatever you got to do. You know what I mean? Sell the merchandise because it does sell and somebody's going to buy it and make the money there. And you have a global market that you can sell to. As opposed to trying to milk 2% probably.
You don't want to attack your core audience. That's just it. You don't. So
it's just like, it doesn't. I don't think it's like a good business strategy. Obviously, you're gonna try to maximize. You're gonna try to do that and this. But when you pick your battles, obviously this. I'm just like basically saying, because I know some of these people who complain about this, along with the people who rightfully complain about this, at the same time complain about that. And I guess, Kazi, that's my biggest beef, because I know some of these people don't want, you know, to keep it all local. You can't be all local and compete globally at the same time.
But I think the LeBron thing, I know it's a good one, but in the UK, I think that LeBron's like loved for me. And like in Liverpool, it's like, I think it's awesome to see. I think a lot of people are like that from Liverpool. Like, fucking hell, LeBron James wearing a Liverpool kit. It still blows my mind, by the way, that's a thing. That LeBron James wears a Liverpool kit. I know, and it just still blows my mind. But so I know, and I get what you're saying, it's completely fair. But as we said, it's about the Anfield Road expansion, Tim. So there's already more seats. Sure, they're getting more money. And then they built that stand and give Anfield to like corporate. Like, it's not even like a lot of it is. There's only some of it that's for local fans, so people don't know. A lot of it's corporate. The new expansion is for corporate, basically, right? So there's a part of me here where you go, well, you're earning more money off the corporate side because they're corporate like $2,000 a ticket. So you're earning more money there. You've got the extra games. You're not spending 150 million on players every year like other clubs. And still, you know what I mean? It just doesn't make sense. Liverpool is a socialist city, whether people like it or not, it is. It's a socialist city. Bill Shankly was the biggest socialist in the world. Like, do you know what I mean? We've been here before with the £77 walkout. We've been here before. Like, and we walked out at 2-0 to Sunderland, and Sunderland come back and win draw 2-2 at Anfield. Because that had bigger meaning. But Liverpool fans can't walk out right now. They got us by the balls. They can't walk out. We're going for a league.
There's that. I mean, here's the thing. That was like a ridiculous. I can't remember the percentage, but that was an obnoxious increase at the time.
Yeah, right? It's when they built the new main stand, and I think that the average ticket price was like £52, and the highest one they wanted to go to was 77. That's why it was the highest that you could.
Yeah, because that was pretty obnoxious of an increase at the time. I remember that.
Yeah, and you know, it's one of them. No, Tim. Again, yes, it was an obnoxious increase, but that's what I'm saying. Is it worth the bad PR? Is it worth all this?
Yeah, it's not. That's the problem. Like, that's why I mean, like, just try to increase your revenue globally and not locally. Sergi says, I hate to say it, I am so sick of this narrative sometimes that, and I've heard from people in Liverpool who go to games and stuff like that too, that the game, like, you know, some of this whole, like, the only quiet fans are the tourist fans. I'm not buying that. Get the hell out of here with that shit. If anything, the guy who is there every week is the one who can get up for the Burnley game, and not the guy who is there for the very first time in his life, and he's gonna probably like yell his head out.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, I mean, listen, there is of course, it's total stand to pull at a massive global club. This is what I don't understand about it. Sometimes it's like, we are a massive club. You're going to get tourists, and we understand all that. But there's a part where you still make it affordable for people to come, even if you're a tourist or not. If you guys want to go to the NFL game and pay $600 a ticket, that's on you. You let that happen to your team. You let that happen. You let these franchise pricks come into your fucking thing, franchise your league, and pay franchise money, and we'll all stand outside and get our own beer out of a can in a car park. Oh yeah, fucking excellent idea.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. I think it just based compared to the US sports, John, it looks easier. So that's why I think we're always like outside looking in, because especially in the US, I think it's totally different if you're in the rest of Europe. But in the US, I think when you're looking at it, the prices don't seem as obnoxious because it's way too obnoxious here. We're comparing it to some ridiculous prices.
Oh yeah, I live in New York, man. The Knicks, the Knicks ticket prices were jacked up when they were shit. Like right now, they're decent, so there's it's kind of understandable, but they jacked it up even more. So listen, it's too corporatized here. So, and it's because fans didn't do what the Liverpool fan groups are doing now, which is standing up for it.
Yeah.
Or they either that or they don't have the built-in passion that a community has to their sports team, like Liverpool fans or anyone else. In England
I think that's part of it.
Like, listen, let's be real. Like here, sports are kind of like more of a pastime rather than like going to church on a Sunday. Like, let's say the three of us, we probably look forward to Liverpool's game of the weekend and just shut out everything when we're going to watch it. Compared to, like, let's say there's a Knicks or a Warriors game where I could just do it while I'm doing something else or something like that, right? It's different levels of
passion. Because, one, they play way too many games.
Yeah.
And two, the playoff thing. Like, the games don't mean as much, whereas we're watching it because every point, like, it means something. I mean, Mateus says the Bulls are a disaster.
Hey, don't knock my boy DeRozan. I love DeRozan.
And, that's the thing. When we were in New York, we were like, just to see as a tourist attraction, Madison Square Garden kind of a thing, and they were shit. So we were like, I was like, hey, it should be cheap, right? And I was like, get the hell out of here. I'm not going there to see. Like,
you got a team there that was winning like 20 games.
$500 for 2 tickets to get in there to see the fucking arena.
I don't feel it's like, so it's the cheapest ticket you can get is £9, which is about $13-14 is the cheapest you can get, only for the locals. So for people who don't know, the main stand in the top left hand and top right hand corner of the main stand, that's where those £9 tickets are. They are right in the corner in the new stand, out the way. There's only about 500 to 1,000 of those tickets. The average ticket price is about £48, £45, £48, which is about $60.
Yeah.
It's the average, of course, and then you can get a little bit more. Even like if you wanted to sit front row, let's just say, even though that's probably one of the worst seats, it's the same kind of price, basically. Do you know what I mean? There's not much in it. For European games, especially Champions League semi-finals and stuff, they go to like $80, 90, $85 probably, 65 quid. The difference is though, Tim, and again, as you guys have just said it, you can't let people shit on you. You can't like let things happen. I remember coming over, mate, and I went to go watch the Kings when the Kings sucked when I first came over, and I get 6 tickets for the month for $100. Their home games for 6. Bro, I can't get a ticket for $100 now because the Kings are actually okay at basketball these days. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So it's like, so it is what it is. They'll take advantage. They keep dipping into your pocket. And for people who don't know, I think the average salary in the UK is about £28,000, which is about $36,000.
And that's another big part. I think that just kind of skews the stuff, right?
That's the average salary kind of thing in the UK. Do you know what I mean? Like, you can get by on that kind of stuff. So yeah, it's frustrating, mate, and I hope it comes to an end pretty sharp, because if they don't start acknowledging us, probably, well, the fans at least, in the next 7 days, I'd hate to see what they start doing in league games, and I really don't want it to affect the league games, of course.
So she says, does anyone get excited watching Americans want to get to the floor? I think it depends on what it is. I think it really depends on what it is. Welcome aboard, Justin. Good morning.
Oh, that's my boy.
Big fan of that car. Yeah, well, there you go. That's when we remove the comment.
He barely gets to catch the shows because he's a doctor, so shifts and stuff,
Yeah, so I mean, that's the thing. Really not as bad as for price goes, but yeah, don't let them. I mean, that's basically what it boils down to. And I feel like the protest is not as bad, and maybe, like you say, Kazi, it is because they kind of got him by the balls. I mean, because the fans know at the same time you can't abandon the team, because it's like, we're at the final stages over here. And I think somebody was asking in the comments, why did they announce it now? That's probably why they were announcing it now.
The timing's perfect for FSG and the club. The timing's perfect for you. Yeah. And I'm not here to bite them over the head. It's frustrating because it's like, first of all, you could wait. Second of all, consult the fan group and go, fan groups that you've got on board and now you basically want to build a relationship with. Or fucking consult them. Say, is this a good idea? What do you think? Like, like Tony Barrett works for the club. I ask him. Do you know what I mean? It's like, it's just frustrating, mate. But you can't let people take advantage of you. You can't let things like this happen. And again, when you guys want to go to Liverpool and go and watch a game, it wouldn't it be nice for you guys to pay $60 a ticket? Wouldn't that be lovely for you guys?
Right.
Do you know what I mean? It's how you're paying for flights in a hotel. Imagine paying $600 a ticket. You know what I mean? So we need to, and it will be. I'm sure it will be. But Tim, as you just said, mate, we are in and running. The fucking club need us badly. Playing Spurs at home, which is a big home game that Liverpool will have to win. And I tell you right now, fella, if they don't fucking fix it in the next 7 days or come to some sort of arrangement, it will affect league games. They will walk out. They won't give a fuck about a league title or not. They will walk out.
You think so? I mean, I figured because of the timing of it, it would be a different ordeal.
Timing right now, mate, works. But they're doing it small with the no flags and stuff like that. But even Klopp just said, Annie, I'm sure we'll come to something. I'm sure we'll figure something out.
Yeah. I mean, he kind of like was like, this will. I mean, it sounded like Klopp is like, this will start some conversation.
Exactly, which is what he wants, isn't he? Klopp's going to sit there and go. Klopp's going to go back to the club and go, don't like that. I don't like that. Do you know what I mean? Right, you best get that fucking fixed quick because we have a fucking big league games coming up. We got Palace at home on the weekend, and I ain't having that. Do you know what I mean? So let's get going here, kind of thing. Let's get this sorted. So you've got to start somewhere. You've got to start a conversation somewhere, and this is going to be
exactly. Yeah. I'm not buying this either. I mean, yeah, that is the cynic in Sir Z saying that it'll be an excuse to not buy it. I don't think so. This is all about maximizing profits.
Like £300,000. Like the increase is about 300, 400 grand.
Yeah,
it's fuck all the increase. That's the frustrating part. And you're getting extra games in the Champions League. I don't understand it. If you're saying, "Oh, we need revenue," you're getting potentially two extra home.
But I mean, like I say, it goes back to what you were saying in the beginning. It's a business thing where you try to maximize it. If you can maximize it, you're going to do it. And if you can't, if somebody says, "Whoa, no," then you're not. And that's why. I mean, they might come down to 1%, blah blah blah. But I think it will be. I'm just glad that it's not something that's going to, and that's what Klopp was talking about too, that it's not going to affect the game itself and stuff. Okay. I like some of the comments on we were on Instagram Live as well this morning, and first of all, somebody claimed that Kazi was not Scouse, so I'll let you deal with that one. Or maybe they thought the account wasn't Scouse, which we've got a lot of like flag for the American Scouser name in the past. People talking shit and stuff like that about like, oh, you guys are not like Scouts, you guys don't know what it means and stuff. And then 6 months later, people were calling Costas Greek Scouser. So there's that. Ever since I heard that, even contemplated changing the name initially when we first started the website. But then once I saw Costas being Greek Scouser, I was like,
what was the alternative name, Tim? I'm curious.
We could have gone with something standard issue like USA, Cop in the USA or LFC USA or something like that. I kind of like when I first started the website, tried to come up with something that would be like more unique to the whole ordeal. And not a lot of people know. Like if you just started following Liverpool, you wouldn't know what a Scouser is and stuff like that. So I wanted to get something along those lines, and then. Like I say, initially there was like a lot of people like bitching about it and stuff like that. But Ryan says Kazi's a big goddamn here, the British Bear, and with a hangover to boots. Timuchin and no, that's not one of the options. Thanks though.
Kind of gave the Hall of Fame, the American Scouts Hall of Fame.
This bastard took time to do that. Only Matush does stuff like that. But okay, so let's get back to the rest of the press conference, the part that involves the games. People are coming back, but I don't know if you caught any of it, John. It didn't. It seemed like the way he made it sound, especially for Trent and Shuttleworth, that they have been like kind of back, and we're really, really taking our time with them. Because we know we're going to need them at the end, kind of an ordeal. But it still doesn't sound like... I mean, people were putting like Trent in their starting lineup and stuff.
No.
But do you have any hope that we might see at least a cameo appearance of, 10 to 15 minutes, which would then become 20 to 30 minutes maybe against Pals?
I hope so. But then there's an element with the next two fixtures being... decent enough that we can kind of not risk these guys and get the job done still. Obviously, it would be great because the fact if they're out there, it means that they're probably fit enough to start eventually competing for a starting spot. So part of me hopes, but then I've been kind of burned throughout this entire year, right? Where we've been kind of bringing back players like Trent. We brought him back for the Arsenal game. Then he ended up, making it worse. Supposedly as well. So there's that trauma in, but then there's also a part of me where it's like, It's winning time, guys. We got to get you back in. Half 70%, 80%. We got to get you back in. We got to see out this league title. And these two guys, or three guys, if you'd include Jota, right, are experienced. They've been here in the biggest stages, so they kind of know how it is to navigate these treacherous waters, right? So part of me is like scared, but then part of me is like, yeah, let's just go. Let's just put him in if we can. Obviously not being reckless, but just enough to kind of sort of integrate them in as the weeks goes on, kind of deal.
See, that's the tricky thing, right? Like, we are at the end, like Sparky is saying, but we're not really at the end, are we, Kazi? There's still like a lot more important games, and in some ways, these next two games, like one against Atalanta, and at least on paper, these are not the games you want to risk them as. I rather have these guys available to go against Spurs, and obviously as we advance in the semifinal and final and stuff.
We're at the end if you don't beat Palace, isn't it? Hopefully, you don't beat Palace.
Yes.
So you still got to show respect to the other team. Like, for example, we struggled with Sheffield United at home, didn't we? You know what I mean?
But do you want to risk?
I don't mean for the risk. I mean, today's Wednesday and the Palace game's Sunday, so that's a lot more team training that they're going to do. Like, they're going to be in sessions.
But do you think if they don't play tomorrow, they will? I mean, they won't start. You would think they would show up maybe 20-30 against Palace?
I think they'll do 20-30 against Palace, probably. Definitely 20 against Palace, at least, if it's strengthened Jota's case, by the sounds of it, again, even if they're on the bench, just to change a game. Like, Liverpool could be 3-4-0 up, and then you can just take your time. You know what I mean? And then you can not worry about it. But there's also a part where you need a trump card off the bench. You need these, how we were begging for Jota against United. Absolutely begging for Diogo Jota against Man United. So there's that part. I think the Atalanta game's interesting, but first of all, I'd like to not get the tie won as such, because you still got to show respect again. But Liverpool need to win to go to Atalanta with some kind of lead. Do you know what I mean? I'm not going to Atalanta on the back of a draw. Fuck that. Do you know what I mean? Because that's a big win for them. So Liverpool's still got to go and win the game, whether we like it or not. So I can still see, I can see Trent and Jota. Ali's the incest one. I don't think Ali plays against Atalanta anyway, because even if he was fully fit, I still think it'd be Kelleher's spot. I said this on the thing. I'd let Kelleher play every single Europa League game, even the final. I'd let him play and let Ali just do the league. So it sounds like Ali should be in goal for Sunday probably. And then, we can go from there. Do you know what I mean? But it's just nice to hear the names again, boys, to be honest. And, like, they're close. Do you know what I mean? It's been a fucking long time coming. Like, I feel like Trent's been on for so long. Like...
Dude, it's been a while.
Yeah.
I think Salah, someone said on the weekend, like, Salah's had 2 or 3 starts since New Year's Eve for Liverpool, because he went away for the AFCON and stuff like that.
And then he came back. I think he played over the Bournemouth game or whatever, and then he got injured again.
And I was like, And then we're all giving him shit because of the Man United performance. And the kid's barely kicked the ball. He's barely kicked the ball, like, in effect. Do you know what I mean? So, it's interesting. But again, I want to win the game. We got to show Palace respect still. Then we got 7 cup finals. Apart from the Europa League, got 7 cup finals. I truly believe in my heart if Liverpool win these next 7 games, you win the league. So you start to put them on the bench. You still got to show Palace respect and go from there. And by the way, the week after, we got 3 away games in a week. I think it's 3 aways in a week. Fulham, Everton, and West Ham. Is it? I can't remember. But and you're definitely going to need them for them, aren't you? So,
to piggyback off of Kazi's point there, we kind of need that propaganda smackdown for tomorrow. People's heads are understandably dropping after Sunday's result. It's not the end, but some people think it's the end, right? So I feel like tomorrow we need that result to kind of tell everyone that, hey, listen, we're in this, we're ready for it, right? And like back us all the way, kind of deal. So I feel like, we're probably going to go into it, but I feel like there's going to be an element of putting the strongest team possible tomorrow.
Oh, yeah. He'll go strong as possible.
I mean, Harlan Mark says, I agree, win all 7 Prem games on Instagram. As Brian was saying, too, I think we have enough with the current squad to get through on Thursday to not include Trent or Jota. Let me ask you this, Kazi. If you picked one that you want to come back for the rest of the season out of those 2,
ooh, that's a tough question.
Oh, if it was Jota,
I think after Sunday, it's a lot easier to say Jota, I think, right? But
if it's Jota's form before the injury, Jota, because his form wasn't as high as I've seen him, but otherwise it'd be Trent. And it's just because we need that creative ability now. We just need someone to fucking hell just throw.
But could you not argue that we don't have a replacement for Jota, and we semi-habit for Trent.
But
I'm kind of on the fence. That's why I'm asking you guys.
Yeah, but if we have a £65 million Uruguayan striker who stops missing sitters, then we'll be absolutely fine, wouldn't we? So, you know what I mean? I don't understand it. But yeah, I would have Trent all day. Only because, by the way, I think Bradley's struggling a bit. I do think he is. He's not the Bradley when he first came. I think he's getting tired, and I think he could probably just do with a break. And you know what? I think the manager would want Trent back. I think the manager probably thinks I just want that leader back in my team, because he's a leader now, and he was growing into that role this season more and more. I thought he was excellent this season. But again, Trent just. But again, if it was Jota before the injury, 100% Jota.
It would be Trent for me as well, because the entire system is freaking built around him.
Yes.
Right. Like, we have a double pivot like there on the ball and Trent there in the center. So Trent all day. Like, this system is at its best with him there. As much as we've coped without him, it's still at its very best if he's there. So Trent for me as well.
I'm sold on Trent. I mean, especially if he plays midfield. Just kidding. But no, I mean, if Trent, because
April Fool's was 9 days ago.
Even against United, I feel like if Trent is there, there were a couple of moments, like we talked about this in the post match as well. There were a couple of moments where Bradley and Gomez could not get the pass there. And Trent does, not to mention he gets some other passes that we don't even see. These are the ones that we saw and did not connect on the pitch. So I think it will help the front three, like Trent's presence. I just hope when Trent comes back, we do still manage to keep McAllister in the creator role as well. And we have two people who can cause chaos and not just put McAllister back on the shelf and put everything back on Trent again, especially after he's coming back from...
and the last few games, though, Tim, right? We've been talking about this with the counter-attacking. Oh, we haven't found that last pass. We haven't found that. We can't get that last pass off. Oh, fucking hell, wrong choice again. They should have went left instead of right. And Trent Alexander-Arnold finds the right pass. There's one thing you can say. He finds the right pass.
Well, you can say the same for Jota, too, I think. Like, he's a key part of... I know we always talk about his finishing. And, like the fact that if he gets in the situation, more than likely he's going to finish. But, man, you go back and he's had a ton of assists and creates and counters and, like, one-touch passes when he lets, like, Mo loose and stuff as well. So, but I think in the grand scheme of things, kind of like because what John is saying, so much of the system depends on it.
Yeah.
Probably Trent is the...
Can we have both back, please?
Yeah.
Ideally, in an ideal world.
Best scenario.
I'm saying, can I have both back? Because that's why we signed both. So can I have both? Do you know what I mean? Can I have my keeper back? As much as Kelleher's great, can I have the number one keeper in the world back, please? That's what I'm saying. When I see Liverpool fans again after the United game, yes, of course, it's the game we should have won. Blah blah blah. We shouldn't even be in this position. We shouldn't be here.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like, the injuries are insane. The squad, we didn't think this was going to be in a title run at the start of the season. Do you know what I mean? And now we're just here, and let's just get these fucking great players back, please. And then let's just, really kick on from there.
My biggest problem is people getting the ball in the box and giving the ball away. Trent won't help with that. Yeah, but Trent puts you in a situation where you just gotta connect with the ball that he's putting in. He's putting it with the pace that all you gotta do is get some kind of a contact and stuff like that. Harlan says Jota is also more likely to make that run in front of the defenders, which we missed in the two United games. I agree with that too. I think his movement as well is kind of like underrated. But yeah, it would be great. See, the fact that it's a debate shows, I think, how important both are, because like everybody's like going back and forth and stuff. And yeah, in this mix, like we do forget that Ali is missing as well, and that's why I think it's kind of like been amazing. They were asking Klopp today, and I know like Sergi was mentioning this a couple of weeks ago in the comments, but they were asking Klopp in the press conference about like, is it going to be hard to get these guys back in because the young guys have done so well? And I'm like, no, it's not. I mean, it's not going to be a difficult decision to make if Trent should play, if Ali should play. Only for freaking Sergi over here, that would be a conversation. Having said that, John, this Thursday, knowing that we have a game coming up. Good morning, Ryan is joining us as well on Instagram. With the game coming up on Sunday as well, bearing that in mind, how much of a rotation do you expect tomorrow?
What do I want, or what do I expect, like, realistically will happen?
Oh, they're that far off, huh? Well, what do you expect? Let's go with that.
I feel like there'll be some changes in the midfield. I think he might be starting an Elliott. He might be starting people are going to crucify me for this. There might be starting a Gravenberg, right? But
Elliott was in the press conference.
Right.
Usually is a sign that
yeah, it's a sign that he'd start. So I think Elliott's a sure on then, because I didn't catch the press conference, but now that you mentioned it, he's probably a sure on, probably for a Szoboszlai. The sixth position is kind of what is concerning me, because listen, we only have two players that can truly play that role, and one is kind of makeshift with McAllister. And Endo just came back from an injury. He played the full 90 against United, right? Well, almost full 90 because Jones came in for him. But listen, we don't want to rush him. We don't want to put too much load on him, especially with this, last stretch of the season. So I kind of see it being like either McAllister starts, then last 30 Endo, or vice versa kind of deal for that.
Mhm.
But again, there's a complete difference between what I want and what Klopp wants, and I want the strongest team possible because we need this win, and we need a big one to get everyone back on the train and to make it easier for us, because for those who didn't catch, Arsenal and Man City are involved in absolute knife edges of a tie, right? So if we get this one done and we can afford to rest players for the second leg, right, it gives us a pretty good advantage, I would say. So that's my take on that.
See, he made it sound like, by the way, Besetic is like the furthest out. So
Yeah.
I honestly do not expect to see Besetic at all unless he's at the last home game, comes in for 5 minutes or something like that. I just don't expect to see him get a lot of minutes, especially with everybody else coming back, kind of a deal. Jones is in the equation as well. Gravenberg, he did mention, because somebody asked him specifically about like Dutch players and stuff like that in the press conference, because there was a Dutch reporter there. But where are you at with this, Kazi? 6, like John says, is probably the trickiest, because you don't want to run Mac into the ground either.
No, I think they'll share the load. I think Endo does 60 and Matt does 30 in the 6 at least. I think it's a tough one, this, but I think he does go super strong. I think he wants to win the game still. And I also think there's a part of this where Liverpool just want to have a nice little feel-good win. If Liverpool win comfortably, it'd be nice just to win a game 3-0, wouldn't it? Those were the days. Those were the days, guys.
Those were the days.
We took advantage of it. But yeah, I think he goes super strong. I think Jones, Gravenberch, Endo, and then Mach doing a 60 probably, and then coming on 60. Up front is interesting, the strikers, because I think he should do Gakpo.
He should, yeah.
I'd do Darwin off the left, and I'd give Diaz a rest. And I'd do Darwin. He played a lot of football.
Okay.
I'd do Darwin off the left, Gakpo and Salah. But yeah, Liverpool still need to win the game. Liverpool still need to show respect. I say this all the time to people. If people haven't realised what Sheffield United did to you, like, let's not get fucking count our eggs before they've hatched here, guys. Let's just chill out. You know what I mean? Let's, they're still.
But the fact that this is probably the only game we have that you can make up if it doesn't go 100% well. So do you roll the dice more?
Yeah, maybe. But I also think there's a part where we just want a fucking big, nice, feel-good win before rolling into Palace and take some frustrations out a little bit. Listen, if Liverpool go 2-0 up inside 20 minutes, Liverpool batter them. Like, Liverpool will not let them be like, it's like, okay, now you're getting it. Like, this is it, you know what I mean? Let's go and have. It's a bit like the Slavia Prague game when he went strong, weirdly went strong. But everyone was getting on the at win, everyone was shooting from everywhere, and everyone was having a load of fun. And it just looked like a lovely, nice time for all was had by the players. And there's a part of this where football's meant to be fun, and the players want to have some fun with it as well. Salah could do with a couple of goals, and you know what I mean, just to feel normal again. So I'm not saying that we're going to go out and batter Atalanta, because I don't think we will. Actually, I just think we'll win comfortably, like a 2-0, 3-0 kind of win.
Fair.
You know what I mean? I just think we'll have a nice, comfortable win. But you still got to show people respect. Do you know what I mean? Like, they are, they play in Serie A. They were a good side last year, 3 years ago in the Champions League. Did we play them in the Champions League?
Yeah, they were good.
I know we battered them at their ground, but it was in lockdown, and they were very good. They were going for the league, so they're still a half-decent outfit. You know what I mean? They're still an okay outfit as a team. So, they're probably better than Sheffield United, for example. So let's just show them some respect here, you know what I mean? And let's get these lads right, and then go from there.
Yeah, I mean, the advantage of, I guess, the comfortable score in this game, John, is the fact that now next game you can totally rotate at your heart's will and really be able to like.
John nails a great point there as well, though, Tim, about Arsenal and City. They're bastards of a games, like that's.
They were both great games, and I think those were ideal scores. And
for sure. Yeah.
Like how they went about those both games. Now, you can see they got their butt beat.
You look like right? Arsenal play Villa at home on the weekend. That doesn't look like a barrel of laughs now on the back of that. And then their second legs next week, and then I think they go to Wolves away.
Yeah.
Fucking, do you know what I mean? They're no barrel of laughs after those big, high intense European games. Do you know what I mean? And then also Arsenal can still go to pens. City and Real Madrid, there's no away goals, go to pens if they draw. So do you know what I mean? So there's a part where they can play in 120 and then have a tough, tricky away game in the league. So John's nailed it. Like the tie into we know what this is like. The intensity sometimes of being in these big European games does take it out of you. You do feel a bit laboured on the weekend. You're like, what happened? We just battered these in Europe, and you're like, yeah, because it takes a lot to batter people in Europe. Yeah. Like, you know what I mean? It's not easy. And then go again. So again, I wouldn't fancy that Villa at home now. If I was Arsenal, like, fucking hell, everyone the legs off us here. Do you know what I mean?
No, and I think you kind of like, gets your eye away from the price for a second too, because you got something else rolling on, and it's very intense. So it's very, especially after the games they had yesterday, it's a lot easier for them to think about the game next week and play this weekend in between. Just the way, I mean, John, those games could probably not unfold any better, where I know, like, we almost, like, in a way, we want them to advance because then they play each other even more. Yeah. God, it's so hard to freaking root for them, but without them even, like, winning, at least this was the ideal way, right, John?
Yeah. I mean, as tough as it is to root for City, to root for Arsenal, it's all about logic. It's all about strategy at this point. Like, sure, there might be on a high if they advance out of their respective ties, but that puts them in a position where I believe if I recall the bracket correctly, they're going to be facing each other.
Yes.
If they both, so fucking hell, man. That's like.
Bro, so the intensity we play City in the Champions League. How you feel as a fan coming off the fucking back of it because it's a Premier League side, and they're going for the title semi-finals, mate. Go on, go and play each other, guys. You just go and have a lovely time because I think that game might be sandwiched in between like Arsenal going to United.
I mean, honestly, regardless of when, right? I mean, even if you're going to freaking, like, you're playing anybody at home, doesn't really matter. I feel like it's not only the physical toll it takes, there's a lot of mental toll it takes as well, being in that competition and being in that format. And that's why, I mean, I don't know, do you guys think that Europa will have the same impact or a similar impact? And the fact that it's Thursday instead of for example them playing on Tuesday, they still get like one more day.
No, not necessarily. It's different as well. And
I mean, it's not like the teams we're playing are that bad.
No, they're not bad at all. Like, if you look at the other side of the bracket, you got Leverkusen, Roma, and AC Milan, pretty decent sides here. Yeah, but then listen, we have the pressure of not pressure. We have the distinction of knowing how to get things done in Europe as a team historically, and with our current crop of players, the Van Dijks, the Salahs, who've won the whole damn thing. Right, Salah, Arsenal, and City. City's kind of under a bit of pressure to repeat, to show them that, we are the real deal. And we all know Arsenal haven't won a Champions League in their fucking existence. So there is going to be a bit of squeaky bum time there with them, I feel, compared to our ties, not even considering that it's the Europa League. So, yeah, that's...
But there's some mad at this, though, Tim, right? Because you've just nailed it there with the mentality thing. And, John, you've nailed it again. Arsenal haven't won one. Imagine playing City in the semis to get to the final. You've only been to one final, lost in 06. And then the City, you could be not out of the league as such, because that's the wrong thing to say, but you're in the league title. You've got a chance to actually go back-to-back trebles.
Right.
I don't even talk about City doing that, by the way. They have a chance to go back-to-back trebles. And then, so the intensity of all that is the funny part. If Liverpool were playing one of them, I'd expect us to batter them in Europe, because that's how I feel about Liverpool being in Europe.
Yeah.
But they haven't got that history to ride on. They haven't got that belief in Europe, as John just said, where we've got lads who've done it before. City have got lads now who've done it. Okay, you've done it. Fair play. Can you do it again? Can you go deep again? You know what I mean? Because, you're playing a giant in Real Madrid. You're playing a giant, let's get it right, of European football. And they can just roll to your ground and beat it, and it wouldn't really be a big shock with it if Real Madrid go through. So we need them to play each other. I need them to be spent of energy. I want them to play 120 minutes next week, and then both go through on pens would be my ideal scenario. You guys keep playing football. Let's get the intensity right up for you. And Liverpool just nice trottling along in the Europa League and have a load of fun in Milan. You know what I mean? Load of fun. Just having a lovely time. Hopefully play West Ham in the final, batter them as well, and it's a lovely time.
Yeah, but I just feel like, it just looks, I mean, you watch those games yesterday, the intensity, the pace and stuff like that about, against playing against Real and stuff like that. And even Bayern, they're not their best, but this is the only thing they got going. So they are giving their best. And I mean, yeah, just chasing Sane and Gnabry down the lanes nonstop is enough to wear people down over there. And I think hopefully it will affect them over there. They need to be out of Champions League. Hopefully, see, I don't.
No.
Technically, not really. We want them in there, so they play each other. It doesn't get any better than that. They play each other, beat up on each other. So it's a 2-in-1 at the same time. As I watch it, my brain says they should win, but my heart is like, oh, we don't want to do this. Yeah, it was like it's like when I was watching United play Galatasaray. It was just like, so much confusion. So much confusion.
That famous sign saying, I hope both teams lose.
Oh, man. Okay, so let's end up. We're going to be here for the pre-match, obviously, tomorrow once the lineups come out. Will both you gentlemen be hopping on the pre-match?
50-50 for me, but
50-50 for John. If the hangover is gone for
do
you have any remedies, John, as a young kid? Do you have any remedies or anybody in the audience have some great remedies for a hangover?
Last one, I probably just slept the entire day, and I know
that's an option. Is it an option?
Yeah, it's not an option probably for
I have a 2-year-old man.
Yeah, we got responsibilities and stuff. So
I feel like I've had mild surgery. Honestly, I don't understand. I'm not a young man anymore. Why did it go in the hole? Like, I'm go to the wet in the hole now. For fuck's sake! But now I'll be good. I should jump on tomorrow.
Early predictions for tomorrow, John. Let's start with you.
Y'all are gonna hate me for this, but 4-1 Liverpool. I think we come out firing. I think we really do. All those sitters that Darwin missed, I feel like he's going to start converting them for once in a game that doesn't matter as much, unfortunately. So it's just the Darwin Nunez experience. So 4-1 for me. Yeah.
Absolute schoolyard.
Dude, we just published a clip. Like John just clipped a week ago where you're halfway converted to being a Nunez fan. And you just, went right back to start.
Because that's what he's like, isn't he? That's what he does to you. He's just a fucking nightmare of a footy player. I just keep playing that fucking counter against United in my head, where when someone plays him in and he should just shoot and he
looks to the middle at nobody and taps it towards the middle. Like there's nobody there.
But anyway, listen, the Darwin thing, it doesn't make any. He's just a schoolyard bully. And listen, you need those type of players again. It's the Lukaku syndrome, and that's what started it is. It's just Lukaku syndrome. You'll win your 60 points, but he won't win you the other 30. But the problem is the other 30 the big games. So he's you know what I mean. So he might win you 60 points, and he'll beat the bottom 10 twice, which is 60 points, and we'll all go from there. So I'll say 3-0 Liverpool, but yeah, it probably is a day where Darwin gets a hat-trick, and we go, Darwin's unbelievable. And it didn't fucking matter now, does it?
You're gonna see Anand pop up in the Discord there. I love him. He's gonna go like, I love him.
Oh yeah, I told you about Darwin Nunez.
Yeah.
Playing against some fucking part-timers. No, I'm kidding.
I'm going with the 2-0, but we were talking about this on the Monday podcast, so I'm totally okay with like a Timuchin special or a 4-2 or something like that. It would be in some ways better to get some goals.
I'd like to
open this up.
I'd love a clean sheet. I can't remember the last time we had one. I can't remember the last time we had a clean sheet.
We were looking at it actually. The last time was, I think it was like early March or something like that.
Forest, you said.
What was that?
Forest.
That was the game, right? Yeah, because we looked at this, and there is not a lot. Honestly, there is not a lot this year, period. Yeah, when you get Forest was the one, March 2nd. And then obviously the cup final was there. But then before then, you go all the way back to January 21st. To the Bournemouth game. I mean, we have not had a lot of like clean sheets.
Yeah, I'd love a clean sheet, boys, after that. Fucking hell. But I mean, listen.
But wouldn't you rather have a 4-2 compared to 2-0 just to get some different guys' goals and see it go into the net? I guess that was my take on it in terms of.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, that's fair to get the goals. If I can pick my goal scorers, because I'd love all of them to get one. All me, like the lads. Yeah. I'd love you all to get one, but no, I think I'd take a 2-0. I like a professional performance sometimes. I like when Liverpool just go out and just do the business, and then they barely touch the ball, and they're like, fucking hell, they're good. And then the second leg, it's a bit like, we're playing these again. I like that. I like that kind of stuff. You know what I mean? So
the good thing about it is a 3-0 and a 4-1 that some of the predictions coming through here, another 3-0 coming through here is the fact that it's kind of 2-0, you can't say that, but I think as a 3-0, you can pretty much say, yeah, we're done. And you can rotate a lot next week and feel comfortable. Whereas if you go with the 2-0, you can still rotate and keep the troops on the bench just in case things go south. But it's not as comfortable because you can concede an early goal and suddenly, you open up things over there.
2-0 reminds me of is that Villarreal a few years ago, Champions League semifinal?
Yes.
It went 2-2, and we're like, "Oh shit!" Right?
Yeah,
So,
exactly.
We went 2-0 up, and then I think it was like the 65th, we were 3-2 up.
right.
It's the weirdest fucking game of footy, that wasn't it?
That was actually
just ran from us our own half.
Was that Unai?
Yeah, Unai Emery, yeah.
He was, right? Okay, yeah.
That's how good he is in Europe as well. That's another thing about Villa. When everyone goes, we got to go to Villa. Let them get to the Conference League final, please. I would really like to get to the Conference League final. Let them worry about something else as well.
And lose to Fenerbahce, hopefully. That's the ideal scenario.
A little Fenerbahce Villa. What a wonderful week. Imagine that for you. Liverpool in the Europa League final. Fenerbahce versus Villa.
Right.
And then probably fucking City against some.
That's the dream.
I feel like
you know what the bad thing is, by the way? The ref tomorrow is the freaking ref that was in the Fenerbahce game where the fans invaded the pitch and the pitch,
really?
and he let that game finish and stuff. That is the ref that's reffing the game tomorrow for Liverpool Atalanta. Yep.
Oh, that's fucking hilarious.
But these Turkish refs, when they come to Europe, they ref a proper game because they don't have all the politics and all that kind of stuff in the back of their mind. They actually go out there and do their job. It's a total different scenario when they're back home. So similar to, not really, you see Anthony Taylor in Europe and it's the same shit that he was in the Premier League. So I guess I can't say that for British chefs. But hey, thanks a lot as always, everybody. Give us a like, follow, share. If you joined us today on Instagram Live, welcome aboard as well. Do not forget the giveaway that we got going, McAllister signed jersey along with Liverpool gold. So do give us a follow on Instagram and them as well. Follow the directions on the story to qualify and win that jersey. Hey, even some of our contributors qualify for this one. So that's the good thing over there. So, but have a great Wednesday and we'll see you guys tomorrow for the pre-match. Take care.
Take care, guys.